All right, this is Jeff Zimmerman here with one of the hottest young junior middleweights out there in the world, Jesus Ramos Jr. How you doing, Jesus?
I'm doing good, man. How about yourself?
Good, man. We talked before your last fight. Um, I know you got a big one coming up here on the undercard of Canelo-Charlo, co-main event, I believe.
Yeah, co-main event, man. Exciting news.
Yeah, against Erickson Lubin, who we know is a hard-hitting fighter himself. But before we get to that fight, man, the last time we spoke was before you fought Joey Spencer, two
Yeah.
undefeated guys trying to kind of separate them. You guys were trying to separate, from the pack. Not a lot of guys that are undefeated, young rising stars are fighting each other these days. You guys decided to do that. Take me back to that fight, man, because it was under Canelo also, Canelo and Plant. Was that kind of a coming out party for you?
Yeah, it was a huge card. It was Benavides versus Plant. And
Benavides,
so it
yes.
was exciting. Yeah, it was an exciting night. I feel like I had faced tougher competition than Joey Spencer, but I hadn't been getting the credit, and that's why I kind of decided that, he called me out and we were like, well, that's a good fight. I mean, he's got somewhat of a name, people consider him a prospect. Um, and we said, why not? It's gonna be an exciting fight on an exciting card. But like you said, we needed to separate ourselves. We needed to show what level we were on, and that's exactly why we decided to make that fight happen. And I think that's what happened. I feel like people realized who I was and um, that I had good skills and that I was at a different level than Joe Spencer. And I feel like I'm getting a lot more respect now after that Joe Spencer fight.
Yeah, and just from the one other time in talking to you, and even just hearing you now, you're very kind of low key, humble, but also very confident. You're not one to just talk a lot of mess. You're not out there on social media, pounding your chest, but you kind of let those fists there do the talking for you. Is that kind of your style?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've always been like that. I've never been much of a talker. I'm a shy person. And but I am confident in my skills. I do believe in myself. I do believe I can do a lot of good things. I believe I'm a great boxer. Feel like even better than what I have shown in my fights. I've been in the gym and sparring. I feel like I've done a lot more, shown a lot more. But I mean, in my fights, it's different. You have certain opponents who require different styles, who bring out a different part of you. They don't bring out everything. They don't. It's not required to show everything. But I think in this fight with Lubin, yeah, I might need to show a little more, and that's more exciting for me because I can show how good I really am.
Yeah, yeah, and just so everyone's clear, you were supposed to be on the Spence Crawford fight on the card. And you injured your hand, Jesus, or what happened?
Yeah, it was a minor injury. It was something that just needed. It started in the beginning of camp, and it was something that needed time. Needed like a little break. And I wasn't gonna have it. Through going through training camp, I still needed about 2 weeks, 2 weeks of training, and then the fight. So I was risking getting hurt even more. Even worse, and potentially being out of the ring even longer than what really needed to be. So that's why we decided just to take a step back, let the hand recover, and it really did, man. I think everything was expedited. I went um to a physical therapist. No, she's not a physical therapist. She works with the UFC Institute with fighters for that same reason, Heather Linden, for therapy and stuff like that. And then she basically expedited the whole process, man. She got on it, and I think that's what I needed. I needed someone who understands combat sports.
Hmm.
That it wasn't just a regular injury. You know, like you go to a regular doctor, takes a couple months to for them to get everything sorted out. But you know, with someone who knows the type of injuries that us as in the combat sports can have, they're quick to it. You know, so like I said, she basically expedited everything. She gave me some exercises, told me just to lay off the hand for a little while, and we did, man. And yeah, I mean, I feel great. I've been sparring, I've been training this whole training camp, and everything has been good, better than the last training camp that I was having for that fight.
How disappointing was it? Because, these opportunities sometimes don't come often, come up too often. And of course, now you're under Canelo-Charlo. So, you're somewhat blessed. But how disappointing was it? Because that was the super fight that people have been talking about, the throwback to the Sugar Rays and the, Hearns and all that. And not to be on that stage and to be able to fight that night. Was it hard?
Yeah, man, I think that was the hardest part. I was really disappointed. I mean, I was already going 12 rounds of sparring. I was already, like I was basically at my peak, of the camp when I had to cancel it. So I was just disappointed of all the work that I had put in. Even just like, just like you said, being missing that opportunity. Like I was sad, man. But I I just thought everything happens for a reason. That's all I said. Everything happens for a reason. I stayed positive, and yeah, man, I feel like we attracted this. Once that Canelo-Charlo was announced, and it had no undercard, we were thinking to ourselves like, what if we get on that undercard? And just basically just staying positive, attracting all the positive things, and we're here now. So that's the law of attraction for you, man.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. And you were in Crawford's camp preparing him for Spence, correct?
No, no, not for this one. I've been in camp with him before, but not for that one. I
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
in. Yeah, yeah, because I mean, I was facing Sergio Garcia, a right-handed fighter, so yeah, it was a little different, and yeah, we didn't get to work for that previous camp.
Okay. But, having been in the ring with Crawford and then seeing what he did to Spence, I mean, it was a 50-50 fight from everybody going in. Were you surprised on how he dominated just from you sharing the ring with Terrence?
I wasn't, man. I remember telling everybody at the gym, you're gonna be surprised at how easy he makes it. He makes it seem. And everybody was, no, no, like it's gonna be a tough fight, and I like even I thought it wasn't gonna be that easy, man. I thought he was gonna take over at some point and then make it look easy, but he really just from the beginning, man, it was all Crawford, and that was crazy to me. I felt like Spence was gonna come out and give him, somewhat of a fight in the beginning, where in the beginning of the fight in the early rounds, but no, he came and took over. But like I said, I kind of had a feeling, man, he was just gonna go in there and dominate. Like I said, I didn't think it was gonna be from the second round on, but I knew, man, he had a lot in his arsenal. Like you said, just from sharing the ring with him, from being in camp, just talking to him, you just know the kind of athlete he is, the kind of person he is, and yeah, man, I knew that he was gonna beat Spence, and it was impressive, man. That was really impressive.
Yeah. Were you at the fight by chance, Jesus?
Yeah, yeah, we went. Yeah, we were
Okay.
able to go.
I wish I would have seen you there. I was there as well, but
Oh
uh,
yeah.
hopefully at your fight coming up. Let me ask you this one last question on that. Having shared the ring with Crawford and obviously sparring, you're working on different things, and you were preparing him, I guess, for a fight previously, and so forth. Do you feel like you're a better fighter from that experience? Like, does that give you confidence that, I mean, here he's no argument, he's the pound for pound number one fighter in the world. What does that do for your confidence?
It it did. At the time, it helped me a lot. This was back in the first camp with them was back in 2020. During the pandemic, when the bubble started and all of that. And we went over there for camp, and I felt like we used to work hard. I remember that we were like, well, we train hard. And we went over there and we started seeing the routine that they had. And oh man, we fell in love with it. We've never, I feel like we've never been like lazy. We've always liked to work hard, but we never had that routine. We never, for us, it was just, I mean, we were just doing things how we thought they were supposed to be done. We didn't have that experience. And when we were out there with them, they really taught us a lot. And sharing the ring with them boosted my confidence so much. I mean, it helped me. I think it transformed me. That camp really transformed me. It was a 9-week training camp. And I really changed a lot, man. And we learned a lot. I think not just me, but us as a team. My uncle was there, my uncle Abel, my dad was there. So we kind of all took something positive from it. And to this day, man, it's stuff that we apply in training camp. The 7 days out of the week training, we do that. The routine that they have of training and just different stuff. We still do it. And that's it was like almost like a blueprint to us. And
Mm.
yeah, we honestly we appreciate it very much, and we have a lot of respect for them and their team. And yeah, man, they're really cool people. And like I said, we learned a lot. We grew a lot in that camp.
And you in going to other camps, you've never seen, it sounds like, a team work the way they work and how hard
Right,
they
yeah.
work and what they do. This was a new experience.
Right, yeah. And I feel like it's really different, man, because like when we went to Vegas for a training camp, it was like obviously everyone has their coach. And so they all go to the coach. But then after that, it's like, well, you go do your strength and conditioning run or run here, run there, but no one's together. There's no you. There's it's not like there's no unity. Like and over here it was like everyone was together. If we went to go run, everyone was together. Strength and conditioning together, and that was everyone in the camp. And if we were gonna go train, it was at 2:30. We everyone went at 2:30, so we were all in camp together. It was something that you don't see a lot. Like I said, in Vegas, they all have a head coach and they go to him at a certain time, but then they leave and you don't know what's going on. Like you know what's going on throughout their day, and like you just don't see them again till the next day when it's time to go to boxing again. But over here, like I said, even like in the morning, that it was strength and conditioning, everyone was there, and the track, everyone was there, and that's how we're doing it here. We're my dad's everywhere with us as well. Everyone, even the sparring partners that we bring in, are doing the training that we're doing, and we've been getting really positive feedback. They really like it. They say we had Thomas Lamana out in camp for my last fight, and he said that 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 was the first time he had ever had a camp like that. That he said this is how now I know that this is how a camp is supposed to go. And I mean, if you think about it, he's got like 40 fights. So to be going, to barely be realizing that a camp should go that way is crazy. So I'm really blessed to have been able to share that when I was 19 years old, and learn that and now implementing it in our camp.
Wow, it's interesting. You see them together. You see them having fun. Bo Mack and Crawford and Coach Red and everyone, and that team camaraderie. But I've never heard anyone, especially another fighter, explain that. And you're kind of paying it forward. And I bet they would like that. I mean, if they hear
Yeah,
this interview, I think they would appreciate that. So that's really cool. And I know I said last question, but do you see any chance Spence has activated the rematch clause? I mean, he's a warrior. I've covered him in Dallas for years. I think you knew that. But whether it's 147 again or 154, I would imagine you don't see it going any way different.
yeah. No, I mean, I feel like I mean, the way he's gonna be a little stronger, obviously he's gonna feel a little better, but I don't feel like, Crawford necessarily beat him just being the stronger man that night. I feel like he beat him in all aspects. He was superior, and he was superior in counter punching. He was faster. He had a stronger jab, a sharper jab. Just his boxing ability, his ring IQ, I think is what made the difference. And it's really tough, to change that, you know, back to back fights like that. I feel like he should take some time, maybe build himself back up. But I mean, like you said, he's a warrior, man, and
Yeah.
he wants to get that chip off his shoulder. So respect to him, and I give him all the credit.
Sure, sure. Now, listen, man. So, you missed out on Spence Crawford, but now you're Canelo-Charlo. Charlo, obviously tied to the Spence team, same trainer, Derek James.
Yeah,
Um, you talked about the coming out party a little bit with your fight against Brian. Was it Brian? Am I going blank here? Joey Spencer. I'm sorry.
Joe Spencer. Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and now you're under a Canelo undercard. You're Mexican. He has the whole country of Mexico behind him. He's the face of boxing, right? Still,
yeah.
win, lose, or draw, he's still the face of boxing. I mean, how cool and excited are you for that?
Man, I'm really excited, and I just like I said, I'm very blessed, man, because this is huge. Like this is something that I've dreamed of. Just imagine being on a Canelo card, like that's huge, and I couldn't be more excited. I really couldn't, man. I'm working extremely hard because I feel like I said, this is my coming out party, but I feel like I can. Right now is my opportunity to be embraced even more by the Mexican fans, by the Mexican audience, and I need to make a good impression, and I think it's really important for me to do that. Just go out there and showcase my talent on a big stage like this. Because right now I have some recognition in Mexico. I've been doing some interviews, and people are starting to hear about me over there, but I feel like I need more. And I speak perfect Spanish. So I feel like I can really win them over. And it's huge, man. Like you said, it's huge, and this is an important fight.
Yeah, no doubt. And let's talk about Erickson Lubin, man. I mean, talk about a warrior. I mean, he came out, with a lot of hype coming into the pros. He had Tyson, kind of backing him at one point, promoting him in his corner. Then, he took on Jamel Charlo. You know, Probably got in a little bit over his head at that point, but then he came back strong, and then he was in that war with
Yeah.
Fundora. I mean, and God, I mean, talk about what he brings, and just what you're going to expect from him at the end of September.
Well, like you said, he's a warrior, man, and he fought that fight. I mean, he lost that fight to Charlo, early in his career when he took a big step up. And you got to give him credit, man, because like you said, he basically built himself back up. He got some great wins over great fighters, and I mean that loss to Fedora was tough, man. He was, he really showed how much heart he has. He's a warrior, and I respect him for that, and I give him his credit. But I have to beat these guys. These are types of names that I need in my on my resume. These are the types of wins that I definitely need, and I have to go out there and make a statement against Lupin. I feel like it's a great opportunity for me. So I'm definitely gonna take advantage of it.
And the 154 is one of the hottest divisions in boxing right now. And if you beat Lubin, I mean, where do you go? I mean, you got obviously Jermell fighting Canelo, and now Tim Tszyu and Brian Mendoza. And Mendoza, you beat a couple years ago, but he came back and then beat Fundora. I mean, everyone's fighting everybody, which is what the sport of boxing has been craving for
Yeah,
forever. I mean, where do you see yourself in that whole mix? And then, assuming you get the win against Lubin.
I think we have to wait, man. Because like you said, we got to see what happens with Charlo, what he decides to do. I mean, granted, if he wins, he might just stay at 168. I mean, who knows? Who knows what happens? So we gotta wait for him to see what he says, and then Tim Tszyu, man, and then that I mean we'll see what happens there. You know, the winner of Tim Tszyu and Brian Mendoza, and then we'll see how everything adjusts. Like you said, right now everyone's fighting everybody, and we'll see what's gonna happen. I'm focused on Lubin. I gotta beat Lubin, but after that, I mean anything can really happen if you think about it. Who knows? Maybe a rematch of Brian Mendoza, or maybe Tim Tszyu, or who knows what's gonna happen, man. I think it's a
Yeah,
really interesting time right now at 154. Like you said, everybody's fighting everybody, and I think it's a good year for boxing all around.
no doubt. And then if you get Spence and Crawford moving up, um,
And we get
who knows what that does to the whole class. But we'll wrap it up here in a minute. I'm here with Jesus Ramos Jr., trained by his dad, his uncle, also a boxer, Abel Ramos. It's the family business. Big fight coming up September 30th against Erickson Lubin. Talk about, real quick, you talk about Canelo-Charlo. Um, do you think Charlo has a shot at Canelo?
yeah, man. I think he does. He's got skills. He has a lot of ring IQ. He showed that at in the Castano rematch. You know, he can move. He's long. He's a lot taller than Canelo. And he's strong. We'll see how it does at 168, but I mean, he's strong. You know, he's a strong fighter. I'm sure it'll carry with him. You know, and I think he give him problems. I think if the weight doesn't affect him, if there's not much of a size difference in the ring, on fight night, who knows? Who knows what could happen. Canelo, he's got a lot of experience though, man. It's a been here, done that type of deal with him. So we also have to see how Charlo reacts to that. I feel like this is the biggest stage of his life, and we'll just see. We'll see what happens fight night. But he definitely don't count Charlo out. He can definitely beat Canelo. I think he has what it takes. So you gotta wait till fight night.
Definitely, definitely. And what about Tim Tszyu and Mendoza? You beat Mendoza a couple of years, but he seems, he's on the rise. People come back, they learn, they get better. Knocked out Fundora. Uh, how do you see that fight playing out? Two guys, it looks like we going toe to toe.
Yeah, man. I feel like Mendoza has great boxing skills. I feel like he can outbox Tim Tszyu, but Tim Tszyu's he's strong. He likes to pressure. He likes to break his opponents down. So that's where it's gonna get difficult for Brian Mendoza. But if he can stay disciplined, keep him behind the jab, and he's got power, man. He can bang. So I feel like if he can keep him honest, but behind the jab and keep him back, he can give him a good fight. He might even beat him. We've seen Tim Tszyu get hit and dropped by Gaucher. So we'll see what happens. I feel like he's got a pretty good shot at Tim Tszyu, and I like that fight.
Yeah, it's a great fight in October. The calendar just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah.
We'll wrap it up here. One last question for you, Jesus. What should we expect September 30th, T-Mobile Arena, on a huge Canelo card with Jamel Charlo? What should we expect against Erickson Lubin?
Fireworks, man. He's coming to fight, and I'm coming to fight. Um, he he can't lose this fight, and I can't lose it either if I want to become world champion. This is where I think it's a crossroads battle right now, and it's gonna be a good fight, man. Neither of us want to lose, so those are the fights that you don't want to miss. That's where we're gonna leave it all in the ring, and it's gonna make for an entertaining night, and we're definitely gonna set the tone for the main event.
Awesome, man. I can't wait. I hope to be there live. Uh,
Thank you.
and if so, we'll definitely have a face-to-face conversation
Yes, sir.
instead of Zoom. But appreciate the time, man. Best of luck.
Thank you.
You keep rising. This is another great fight. I think step up for your career, but you're right there on the cusp of a world title shot. So good luck
Thank
to
you.
you, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate your time, man. Appreciate
All
it.
right, Jesus. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.